I'm Ritesh, and you picture again.
Right. So we probably.
Ashu Ji, you're muted.
Awesome. Thanks for telling me. I just kept going. Anyway, really excited to have all of you and welcome to Hindi University. We took a 1 week break. I was, out and moving from one location of Bay Area to another. So now we are all set. For those of you who are new, as you know, we meet every Sunday, 8 a.m. US Pacific time. And you can find more details about us by going to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hindi University. If you're interested in joining the live sessions, you can find out the details on this page, tiny.cc/Hindi University. As you know, we've been following a book called Teach Yourself Hindi, uh, which is the book written by Professor Rupert Snell. He's a professor in the University of Texas, Austin. You can find the soft copy of the book on this link, tiny.cc/Hindi University. And currently, we are still going over chapter number 11, and we'll try to finish this chapter in this class. Okay, so even if you are a complete beginner, don't worry, you can still join us. It will require some effort, but you'll be able to keep up with what's going on and follow along with other students as well. Okay, so chapter number 11. Okay, so as you know, in this chapter, this is one of the hardest topic in Hindi, right? Using the tenses in the past, when you're using the or making the sentence in the past tense. Okay, and just to kind of give you the context, we the way we kind of structured it, typically when you're learning about present tense or past tense in Hindi, you don't need to go into specifics of the verb. Okay, we just say, okay, मैं खाता हूँ or मैं चलता हूँ, and life is good. But like as soon as you start making sentences or conversing in the past event, like what did you do this weekend, that's when things change. And that's when we learned about having to classify verbs as transitive and intransitive verbs, right? And we learned that transitive verbs require one or more objects, direct objects, and intransitive verbs, they do not take any object. And then within that, like for example, sleep, it doesn't require or laugh or smile or cry, they do not require a direct object. Versus like eat, you eat something that requires a direct object, right? Within that, in the last week, we discussed, for the most part, most of the verbs are regular verbs. And similarly, even in intransitive verbs, for the most part, all of them are regular verbs. They follow the verb conjugation rules, right? Even in English, most of the verbs, except about 300 verbs, they are regular verbs. Like they follow, when you use them in the past tense, they follow the proper ending: cry, cried, and cried. They end with ed, and there's one more rule there. Okay, they end with that, or t or ied, right? But there are some handful of verbs, they do not follow this pattern. They're not ending with, the four most commonly verb conjugation. Even in English, like you have go. If you use them in the past tense, it's go, went, and gone. Right? So those are called irregular verbs. Okay, and similarly, there is a intransitive irregular verb as well. The good news is, while in English you have to memorize about 300 irregular verbs, in Hindi there are about only 5 or 6 irregular verbs which are most commonly used. So you don't have to focus on all of them, all your effort. In the previous class, and we discussed that in the previous class, right, about irregular verbs which are transitive. Okay, so here, let me use a different pen. So in this case, in the previous class, we discussed about two transitive verbs which are irregular. We learned about karna, okay, in which we use multiple examples of karna, which is to do. To do, like you do something. मैं homework करता हूँ. In the past, it would be मैंने homework किया. Okay. We also did another one, which is lena. Lena is to take or to receive. Okay, and there are two more, which is Dena, opposite of is to give, and Peena. Peena is to drink or to consume. Okay, so I know this is a bit messy here, but bear with me. Okay, so these are the four most commonly used irregular verbs within the transitive case. Okay, in the past class we covered these two, Karna and Lena. In this class we will do Peena and Dena. Okay, and in the case of intransitive, there's only one very popular one. Can anyone tell me which one is that? Kelly ji, do you remember? Or if you're busy, don't worry. I'm gonna ask.
Hona?
Which one?
Were you talking about Hona for irregular?
Anyone else besides Hona?
I'm thinking.
I even gave an example of that.
Is it Jana?
Very good, Jana.
Oh,
That's
yeah, Jana.
very good, right? Jana. Okay, so we will do this also. Okay, so this is just a context for everyone, so we're not directly jumping into these verbs, Dena and Peena and Jana. Okay, we are. So you have this mental map, in front of you before we get into it. Okay, and I was thinking, because a lot of you did homework, because last class, when we did one of the irregular verbs, karna, I gave you a small assignment about, can you tell me what did you do on the weekend, right? Because that's where you will be using a lot of the transitive verbs, potentially irregular as well, regular as well as irregular. So I was thinking maybe while we're still having people joining late, maybe some of you can, whoever finished it, you can read your essay, and some, folks, other people who can at least listen to it. Okay. So I'm going to ask, to see how it goes. Okay. So Yirkaji, I'm going to put you on spot. And if you don't mind, reading what you did.
Yes.
That read it slowly and loudly, so everyone can listen to it and learn from just hearing.
ओके ये वीकेंड बहुत अच्छा था। पहले हर रोज मैं बहुत वक्त सोया। सब शाम को मैं जूम पर कई दोस्त से मिला और हमने बात की। शुक्रवार को मैं कोई दोस्त से मिला क्योंकि उसके पास एक प्रिंटर है, तो मैंने अपने दफ्तर पर कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स मुद्रित किया। एक और ज़रूरी चीज़, मैंने मेरा घर साफ किया, तो आज सब साफ है। और मैं मेरा रूममेट के लिए दुकान गया, वो अभी हमेशा घर पर है क्योंकि उसकी तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, तो मैंने उसको कई चीज़ें खरीदी।
Okay. So,
शनिवार को मैंने एक कपल के लिए फोटो खींचा, फिर मैंने उस फोटोस एडिट किया। उसके बाद मैंने एक कॉमेडी फिल्म देखी।
okay, comedy film देखी. Awesome. बहुत अच्छा. Very good.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Do we have Tara ji online? I saw her assignment as well. Okay. Anyone else? You know, you saw it was like how he used a lot of verbs in the past tense and able to formulate a big essay.
I'll try.
Yeah, go for it.
I won't try to read from Devanagari though, because that would take a year. So, Mene, Apni, Beti Ko, Chin, Kilie, Pat Karne, Me Madaki, Shukrava, Dofa Ham, Airport Gai, Humani, Taxi Nahili, Me Airport Se Drove Kia, Shanavar, Ki Subla, Me Roya, Kyonki, Mene Apne Parivar, Ko Yad Kia. Fear Mene Diwali Kelie, Marati Bojan Pakaya, Mene Ek Gujarati Dali Banai, Me Ek Chasvir Lena Pulgayi Laken Yaha Ek He Jise Mene Pahele Banayata. And then I had a picture. So, Mene B Apne Kane Kesath Kuch Chai P Pir Mene Apne Sas Ko Kuch Kane Kolia Pir Mene Kuch Television Deki Ravivar Ko Mene Hindi Ki Class Me Baglia Pir Me Hindi Abias Me Shamil Hua Mujhe Abias Kelie Dear Ho Gai Konki Meri Beti Ne Mujhe Phone Kia Isliye Maine Chin Me Apne Pariva Ke Sath FaceTime Kia Me Uhin Date Ka Bahut Kush Hui Mujhe Apni Poti Ki Bahut Yad Aati Hai.
Amazing. That's so great, Rita ji. Amazing. Anyone else? I hope.
I could.
Yeah, go for it.
Mine's very short. So,
Short,
this was this was 2 weekends ago. So, शनिवार को दिवाली था. हम सुबह जल्दी उठ गए और हमने जल्दी से घर साफ किया. उसके बाद हमने नाश्ते के लिए कुछ खाई. हमने नए कपड़े पहने, फिर पड़ोसियों से मिले और उनके लिए मिठाई दे दी. उसके बाद हमारे घर के दरवाजे के आगे मैंने रंगोली बनाई. पूरा दिन के लिए हम बहुत खाना खा लिया और रात को हमने दिया जलाए और पटाखे चलाए.
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा. Awesome.
It wasn't short.
She reads well. I wish I could get my accent like that.
So, in case if you didn't get a chance, don't worry. We'll have more opportunities. But you saw a flavor of, like, you know, how to use the past tense. You know, the verbs in the Hindi past tense. And as I said, like in this class, we'll continue with some of the verbs that we couldn't finish. So we'll start with first Dena, right? Dena, which is the, you know, which is the verb opposite of Lena, right? Dena is used to give, right? So if you're using it in the present tense, it's pretty straightforward. What we learned in the previous class was to conjugate it in different cases. So when you have masculine singular, masculine plural, feminine singular, and feminine plural, right? There if you have Dena, you know, you are looking at the gender of the object, right? Because it is still a transitive verb, right? So if it is the object that you're giving, it's a masculine singular, you'll be saying diya, right? So Dena becomes diya, okay? And I want, as I'm writing it, I want you to think of examples of objects which are masculine singular, diya. Okay, if you're giving something which is plural, it's diye. Okay, and it's not the one, the Diwali diya. Okay, this is the word diya. Okay, so it becomes diye. And then if it is feminine singular, it's di. And if it is feminine plural, it's the nasalized sound with it, which is di. Okay, I can give some examples, but I want you to participate as well. I want you to think about it. So I'll start with very simple example, and then I want you to tell me something similar. Okay, so let's say if I am giving a gift, okay, and as I said, like this is a transitive verb, so you used a postposition ne with the pronoun. So if you are saying I gave a gift, I gave a gift, मैं, because I is मैं, you will use ne with it. So मैंने gift. Now gift is considered masculine singular, right? So you will say मैंने gift दिया. As simple as that, I gave a gift. Okay, मैंने gift दिया. If you are saying it plural, मैंने gifts दिए. Right? मैंने gifts दिए. Okay. Now, similarly, so right now we have gift and gifts, okay, which is masculine singular, masculine plural. If let's say you are giving an inspiration, you are inspiring someone, right? Inspiration. Now that is considered, even though it's an English word, in Hindi, as you know, you have to put all the nouns into the bucket of either they're masculine or feminine, right? So it's in this case it would be मैंने inspiration दी. Okay. I'm trying to change the minimal things in this sentence, so that's why I'm keeping it the same pronoun. Okay, feel free to change it. Okay, and then if it is, as you know, feminine plural, I often use this example, right? I can change it to book also. मैंने किताब दी or book दी. मैंने किताब दी. Okay. Similarly, if I am saying it in plural, let me actually say, because it's a consistent, मैंने inspiration दी or मैंने किताब दी. If I am saying something which is feminine plural, it would be मैंने किताबें दी. That's your feminine plural. मैंने किताबें दी. Now, you can make it even more interesting by saying it to who did you give it to. Okay, and whoever is receiving it will get another postposition, co with it. Okay, as you know, and that's the most common use of using co postposition. Co. Okay, so when I say मैंने gift दिया, the question could be आपने किसको gift दिया? Who did you give the gift to? Okay, I can say मैंने यिरका को gift दिया, or I can say मैंने, and Yirka is getting ko because he is the recipient of that gift. Okay, or I can say मैंने Sarah को gift दिया. Okay, it's the same thing whether it is a male or a female. It's the same structure. मैंने Sarah को gift दिया. Okay, or if I'm giving a gift to all of you, मैंने आप सभी को. You see that I used आप is you, सभी is all. I gave gift to you all, right? That means all of you. मैंने gifts दिए. Okay, up, and you're putting co with it as well because this is the post position. Okay, same thing here. I can say मैंने कैली को किताब दी और मैंने कैली को किताबें दी. Okay, so that's why you're putting co with it. Hopefully it is making sense. Okay, hopefully it is good enough for you to take it with you and convert into something more magical. Okay, so with that being said, I ask all of you to think about how else can you use. Okay, so take 30 seconds or a minute and tell me how else can you what other sentences can you make using Dena in the past tense? So use something with मैंने दिया, or however you feel comfortable. If you have questions, you can ask as well. So I can take a pause here. You can write it down and then we'll take some examples as well. Taraji, good to have you. You ready to give us some examples? I know you probably joined a bit late, so you probably need some. Go for it. You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, I just joined and
You just
I
joined.
don't
Okay,
know
no,
about topic.
no worries. Take your time. So basically, we are using how to use Dena in the past tense. Okay, so you have to make some sample sentence such as like what your friends are making. So I can see Sangeeta ji has said something. मैंने बच्चों को खाना दिया. Okay, or मम्मी ने बच्चों को खाना दिया. Very good. Kelly ji has, yeah.
Ashu Ji, encouragement, female or male?
Which one?
Encouragement.
College में.
No, encouragement.
Encouragement. Masculine. Yeah.
Masculine. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Kelly ji, you want to read? If you are not busy, you can read it out. Your sentence.
Oh, good, because I just saw a mistake in it. मैंने आपके परिवार को Thanksgiving dinner दिया.
मैंने Thanksgiving dinner दिया. Awesome. Okay, Irka.
I got उसने मुझको मछली दी.
Okay, very good. Sarah ji.
Sorry, I think there's a lag in my connection. I had मैंने अपनी माँ को फूल दिए.
Okay. मैंने अपनी माँ को फूल दिए. I gave flowers to my mom. Bundev.
I had written in the chat, मैंने अपने दोस्त को खाना दिया.
Okay, great. Anna.
मैंने मेरी बेटी को encouragement दिया.
Okay, and we have Sharon.
मैंने मेरा कुत्ता को एक ट्रीट दिया.
Awesome. मैंने अपने कुत्ते को treat दिया. Okay. Now, treat can be a little bit tricky. It could be treat the. Okay. So it right now it's fine. Don't worry about it. Sangeeta ji.
मैंने अपने दोस्त को 2 मछलियाँ दी.
Machliyan di. Okay. And same thing. Salah, advice. It's a very good one. I have used salah in my past lectures. It's a feminine one, Tara ji. Okay. So you want to read out your sentence?
उसने मुझे एक अच्छा सलाह दी.
Okay. उसने मुझे एक अच्छी, because salah is right? You know that the adjective will also be change accordingly. So acha if it is masculine, achhi for feminine. Usne mujhe ek achhi salah di. Okay, awesome, great. So I'm really happy. We can get going, and now we'll do the other one, which is the Peena. Okay, and just like this, I want you to as I'm writing it down, I want you to think about how you will use Peena in past tense. Okay, and you can just go with your examples as I cover it, right? So the next one we do is Peena. And as you know, Peena is to drink, right? Very simple one. I don't think most of you should have a problem, right? I mean, it's basically when you're using it, just like, I drink is मैं पीता हूँ, right? Or, मैं पीता हूँ. And this is different than, so there are two, right? One is we use for father, pita, and pita. So just know the subtle difference between that, right? Pita is father, like, ये है मेरे पिता हैं, okay? Or versus मैं पीता हूँ, मैं, milk पीता हूँ, or मैं चाय पीता हूँ. That's a big E for, Peena. Okay, so when you're using it, for the masculine singular one, it's basically pia. Maybe the other, so okay, so this is basically masculine singular pia. Okay, it's based, this one is pa. Okay, if you're saying it for if you're drinking something which is masculine plural. Okay, for feminine singular it's p, and plural is the same thing with the nasalized sound, so it's p versus p with the nasalized sound. Okay, p. So now let me give you some examples of it, and hopefully this will clarify it a bit further. Okay, so if I'm saying something like, I'm going to use some. So let's say I'm drinking a juice, right? So I can say maine. So let's say I'm going to say sugar cane, which is the common one, right? I mean, so maine sugar cane juice, because it's considered masculine singular, pia. Maine sugar cane juice pia, or in Hindi you can say maine sugar cane is ganna, right? So ganne ka juice pia. Okay. I'm just trying to give one more example to you, right? I mean, of a vocabulary, but ganne ka juice pia. You can say maine orange juice pia, or anything else as well. Okay, mango juice pia. Okay, so this is clear. Now next one is you can also say maine pani pia, right? Juice is considered masculine singular. Similarly, pani is also considered, water is considered masculine singular, right? Maine pani pia. Okay, even if I change it to something else, to a different pronoun, unhone pani pia. So just remember, this thing doesn't change. It's always pia remains pia because pani. Okay, unhone pani pia, or you can say unhone bilkul pani nahi pia. They didn't drink any water. Okay, unhone bilkul pani nahi pia. Now, if I have to give an example of masculine plural, I can give it's an English one. Maine unhone milkshakes piye. Okay, unhone milkshakes piye, and that's because this is masculine plural. Let's go over example of feminine singular and feminine plural. So if I'm saying tea or a coffee, right, then you can say maine unhone chai pi, or unhone coffee pi. Okay, and just like that, if you want to say multiple coffees or chai, then it will be p. Okay, right? Who bahut sari chai pi. Okay, questions anyone so far for either of the words Dena as well as Peena before we go to the next section? Anyone? Is it clear, hard, easy? Everyone is quiet. Let me ask Tom Ji. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you. Namaste, Ashu Ji. Yes,
Good.
your lecture's been very clear so far. That's why we're all quiet.
Awesome. Nandini Ji, I see you joining from the phone.
Yes, there was some problem with my mic earlier, but it's crystal clear.
Okay.
What you're saying is crystal clear. Whether I understand is a different matter. Thank you.
But feel comfortable asking question. Okay, so I see some examples here. Sarah has written, "Unhone hamesha bahut cigarette pee." Okay, so cigarette, as you're right, cigarette is considered feminine singular. So you will use cigarette pee. Okay, awesome. Even like liquor is considered feminine singular. So you'll sharab, it's a Hindi word for liquor, and you will say for that also singular. Okay. Let's see. Anyone else is writing? Yirka has written. So Yirka is saying, इन्होंने बिल्कुल शराब नहीं पी. Okay. Very good. अब पूरी रात उसने शराब पी. Okay. So you see, there are so many examples of liquor. Right. I mean, it's awesome. Okay. So we'll get going. The next one I'm going to do is basically, as I said in the tree. Now we'll do the intransitive irregular verb. Okay, and that's a very popular one that you'll be using it pretty commonly. And I saw Rita ji use that in her, short paragraph. So we'll cover that now, which is basically Jana. Okay. Jana. Jana, as you know, is to go. And even in English, right? When you write go, it's basically the other two forms are pretty different from the first one, right? So you have go, went, and gone, right? And if you just learn the way that you have cried, and cried, right? There is no way you can figure it out. Like, my daughter sometimes she tries to, because she's still little, she tries to, when she's using a new verb, she'll try to use in the similar way. But it's only as you learn and observe more and more people, you realize that, it's the word conjugation is different. It's no longer than the regular verbs, right? So in Hindi, coincidentally, it's the same thing, right? It's basically, you have Jana. Okay, there's no way you'll say Jaye, or Jai, right? And it becomes, Gaya. Jana and Gaya in the past, basically, right? So that's how it transformed, and that's how you will be using it. So for masculine singular, you will say Gaya. Okay, you have Ga, yeah. You will be using Gaye. And for feminine singular, it's Gai. Let me write E here, so it's consistent, Gai. And for feminine plural, it's Gain. So same thing, but with an nasalized sound, Gain. Okay, and this should be easy, right? I mean, you can say main. And now, because it's as you know, this is a intransitive verb, you'll not be using a name with your pronoun, right? So if you went to market, if you want to say I went to market, you'll say main. There is no ne here, main, bazaar. And because it's not taking a direct object here, it's a intransitive verb. It's main bazaar gaya. Okay, main bazaar gaya. Okay, and now it's following the gender of the your subject. So if I'm saying it, it'll be main bazaar gaya. If Kelly ji is saying it, she'll be saying main bazaar gayi. Okay, so that's feminine singular, main bazaar gayi. Okay, if same thing, like if you change it to something else also, it's not going to be like, so if you are saying main India gaya for masculine singular, right? I went to India, masculine singular. Okay, same thing, like if you change it to मैं घूमने गया, मैं घूमने गया. Okay, I went to travel, or मैं घूमने गया. Okay, now, so gaya we did. Now if we all of us went together somewhere, right? So if I were to say hum, right? So it'll be changing it to hum. The mistake here is like it should follow, the verb conjugation should follow subject for intransitive verbs. So it will be hum घूमने गए, right? So that's masculine plural. Hum घूमने गए. You can change it to something else as well. Hum Paris गए, or any other country. Hum Paris गए. Okay. So I want you to, as I'm writing it down, I want you to think about something similar. Okay. So it's clear to you, and you are also. Oops, sorry. The lighting is a little bit. Let me know if you see too much reflection. I'm gonna fix it. Okay. So you can say हम घूमने गए और हम पेरिस गए. Okay. Now let's change it to gai and gai. Okay, so for feminine singular, you can say, so let's say you want to say, I didn't go anywhere. Okay, for a girl, you can say, मैं गई is like I went. If you didn't go anywhere, you'll say, मैं कहीं नहीं गई. Okay, मैं कहीं नहीं गई for feminine singular. Okay, I didn't go anywhere. कहीं नहीं. Okay, if you just say मैं नहीं गई, I didn't go. Okay, anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. Okay, मैं कहीं नहीं गई. Okay. Similarly, if it is for only group of women, like हम कहीं नहीं गई, feminine plural. Okay, हम कहीं नहीं गई, or you can use the name of the place. Okay, so I want to give some time to all of you to think about where else can you use it. Okay, and this time I want you to participate. I'm feeling very quiet, right? So I mean, it's important that you participate as well. So you write it down. I'm going to give you some time. Write it down and tell me where will you use it. Okay. I hope the ask is clear. You have to use the verb Jana in the past tense. Okay, so take your time, and I'm going to be, asking each of you. Hopefully I fixed the light problem, but let's see. Okay, I think I partially fixed the light problem. Okay, so awesome, good to see some examples there. Okay, I think I fixed all the light problems. You see, that's why I need some break in between. Okay. All right, so this time let's start with Nandini ji. You want to go first? I see your example, so you can unmute yourself.
Again, वह दफ्तर गया और मैं दफ्तर गई.
Very good, right? वह दफ्तर गया और मैं दफ्तर गई. Great. तारा जी?
क्या वो लड़कियां स्कूल गई?
क्या वो लड़कियां स्कूल गई? And what does it mean?
Do those girls went to the school? No,
Yeah.
did the girls go to school?
Right. That's right. Yirka?
वो दुकान नहीं गई.
Okay, वो दुकान नहीं गई. That's great. Tom? Okay, I think I see Tom has said मैं Los Angeles गया. Okay.
I'm sorry, I was muted, yes.
No
मैं
worries.
Los Angeles gaya.
Awesome. मैं Los Angeles गया. Tarja? You have to unmute yourself. Okay, I can read it if not. मेरी बेटी स्टडीज के लिए दूसरे शहर गई. Great. संगीता जी?
सीता और उसकी सहेली शॉपिंग गई.
Okay, सीता और उसकी फ्रेंड्स और सहेली शॉपिंग गई. सारा?
इस हफ्ते बच्चे स्कूल नहीं गए.
इस हफ्ते बच्चे स्कूल नहीं गए. Great. रीता जी and Kelly जी afterwards.
वह स्कूल नहीं गई.
Okay. Kelly?
Parso में Brooklyn Marina gay.
So you see that, this is basically the simple sentences for how to use Jana in the past tense. Okay. So now we'll and if you didn't get a chance, don't feel bad. It's you can always write it down. Okay. And your amazing friends will tell you, if there is any correction needed there. Okay. Now what I want to do is, like, this topic, we spent a good amount of time, and understandably so, as you know, because this is the hardest one topic, and this is one of the hardest topics. So one more topic that Rupert Snell covers in the same class is, because it's very related with, because we've already understood the structure of how to use Hindi verbs in the past tense. Rupert Snell covers must have phrases, right? Must have. So as you know, there are several sentences, even our day-to-day conversation, where we say must have, and examples include, okay, you must have seen, you must have seen something, must have, right? Another example, you can, she must have thought about it, she must have thought about it, right? She must have thought about it. They must have gone. These are just some examples, but you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, these are, even in our day-to-day conversations, we use sentences like these, right? Where there is a possibility, but at the same time, there is a little bit more surety to it. Okay. Let me ask some of you, when will you use these kind of sentences? And tell me your experience using it, and the context in which you used it. Sangeeta, you want to give it a try? When will you use these kind of sentences?
Something that you are just suspecting that may have happened.
Say it again, one more time, louder.
Something you are suspecting that may have happened.
Okay, something that you're suspecting that has happened. Okay, that's a pretty good one. Sarah, you want to take a stab at it? When will you use these sentences?
So, for example, when would I use a must-have sentence in English?
Yeah.
When something, I guess, is kind of like an obligation or a compulsion. So that must have happened to you, maybe. I don't know how to explain it.
Okay.
Ashu Ji, one example I can think of is, like, if someone's late, oh, they must have hit traffic.
Very good one, right? They must have hit traffic, because you and what is the underlying tone there? Like they have hit the traffic, or you know it, or there's a possibility.
It's like a strong suspicion, like it most likely.
Okay, awesome. So those are all good ones, right? Now, how do you say them in Hindi? Okay, I'll give you a trick. How do you say them in Hindi, right? I mean, it's sounds pretty long, sounds pretty complicated, but let's see what you can do. So you have, you must have seen. So think of it as like you have a sentence called you saw. How will you say you saw in Hindi? Kelly, you saw.
Oh, I'm sorry. To aapne dekha.
Okay, aapne dekha. That's how you will say it, right? Aapne dekha. All you have to do here is you will say aapne dekha hoga. That's it. You must have seen something. Okay, and because it's something, you can say aapne kuch dekha hoga. Right, and this hoga is basically your gender of your subject. Okay, so the trick here for these sentences, all you will do is you will put, based on the gender and the number of the subject, you will put hoga, honge, hogi, hongi, or hongi. That's it. Hongi. Okay, with an nasalized, yeah, hongi. That's all you're doing. So I'm going to write it down in Devanagari as well. So, it is clear. So hopefully this is clear, right? So you have, let me repeat again. You must have seen something. All you're doing is you are saying, how will you know this pattern? Okay, it's you have to use the same structure that you use for sentences that you say in past indefinite, right? So you in your mind you're thinking, how will I say you saw or I saw? Okay, you say that, right? मैंने or आपने देखा, and you're putting होगा after that. Okay, if it's still not clear, don't worry. With the next two examples, hopefully it will be very clear. Okay, she must have thought about it. Okay, let's see again. How will you say she thought? Okay, she thought. Actually, this one is interesting. She must have. Okay, this one is interesting. Let me not confuse you. He must have thought about it, and I'll come to the exception, like the changes part. He must have thought about it. So let's see who will do that one. Anyone who would like to give it a try? Anna? Give it a try, okay? It's all good.
He thought. Is this usne? Or
Yes.
not?
Usne?
Usne. About his ke bare mein or not?
Okay, usne. Okay, usne.
I don't know. Is this male or female? The about.
Socha. Okay, so I think I made a. It has to be the look at, because it's a there is a ne there, right? So it's a transitive verb, right?
Yeah.
So look at the gender of the. What do you think?
Socha.
Okay, very good. Usne socha.
Ke bare mein, right? Or not?
You can put here. Usne iske bare mein.
Okay, sorry. Hoga
Okay,
or
very
not?
good. Very good. That's right. उसने इसके बारे में सोचा होगा. Okay. I think I don't know what I said, but like it should be the gender and the number of this one, because it's look at the verb here. It's a transitive verb. Okay. उसने इसके बारे में सोचा होगा. About it, right? About it, you will say के बारे में. के बारे में, and because it's के बारे में. इसके, इस बारे में, और इसके बारे में, either way is fine, right? So you will say उसने इसके बारे में सोचा होगा. Okay.
And why did you change it before when you said she must have thought about it?
So I think it's उसने सोचा, same thing, right? Even if it is she must have thought about it, you'll say उसने सोचा होगा. उसने इसके बारे में सोचा होगा, same thing.
Because of the nay.
Yep. Right. Let's see the third one. They must have gone. Now this is the reason I confused it, because I have both the transitive as well as intransitive verb and together. But anyways, let's see who would like to give it a try. I want to see if Nandini ji, you want to give it a try? Huh? It's okay to make mistakes.
Sure. It has to be hoga. So unhone.
Okay. So first say they.
Oh no, sorry, no. For gone, you can't have a name. So way.
Okay. Way.
Jana hoga.
Okay. So remember how
no,
will you?
Past tense. Can it be gaye hoga? Can it be? It sounds awful. Gaye hoga.
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. So you'll say ve gaye.
Gaye honge. Honge.
Absolutely. You see, you are doubting yourself unnecessarily. You know it, right? Ve gaye honge, right? So they must have gone, right? So all you're doing is like, first you in your mind they went, and you're putting the form of hoga. Form of hoga based on the verb. If it is a transitive verb, you look at the gender and the number of the object. If it is an intransitive verb, then you will look at the uh, the subject basically, right? Question anyone? This was the last topic of this 11th chapter that Rupert Snell covered, and I think rightly so. He should be covering it here. It's makes much more sense. Anyone? We can do. We can wrap up here, and then after this, we can do our breakout room. But I want to give this opportunity to everyone to.
Ashu Ji,
Yeah.
Ashu Ji, I have a question.
Go for it.
Shouldn't we put here avasya and zarur, avasya or jarur?
You can put it right. At the same time, like let's just if you want to emphasize it, for example, you want to say ve jarur gaye honge. You can say that. Okay. That doesn't really change. That is simply emphasizing that they must have, like, there is no addition to it. Like in English, if you were to translate it, it's going to be the same thing. They must have gone. So for everyone else, what Amritesh is saying, can I say उसने जरूर कुछ देखा होगा. आप if I were to say आपने जरूर कुछ देखा होगा. Can I say that? Or can you say, in addition to that, can you also say उसने अवश्य कुछ देखा होगा? You can say that. That's absolutely correct. But the grammatical structure has to be there, right? उसने जरूर कुछ देखा. You cannot say it without होगा, right? So the grammatical for the grammatical structure to make sense, you have to have, like, the right form of hona with that. That's what Rupert Snell is covering as well. But it doesn't hurt. It just gives it a bit more flavor, and it just shows that you are the degree of certainty, that you are very certain. Like वह जरूर traffic में फंसा होगा. Okay. To Kelly G's example. Yeah.
Ashu Ji, go ahead.
Ashu Ji, you made a very telling statement. For transitive verbs,